Thanks, Livy, and thank you, Mr. Donovan, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
So just to start things off, we want to get to know you personally. Tell me about your family, your kids, where you grew up.
So I grew up in Quincy, Mass. I went to North Quincy High and then to UMass Dartmouth. I'm married. My wife's name is Jody. I have a daughter, Molly, who's 17, and a 14-year-old son named Ronan. And we have two dogs, Charlie and Leo, two labs.
Cool. And so I know you were at Silver Lake, and what did you do there in terms of teaching or coaching?
So I was there for about 16 years. I taught mostly AP psychology, and I taught a sports psychology class there too. And I was the boys basketball coach for 9 years. So the first couple of years I wasn't coaching, and then for the next 9 years I coached the boys basketball team there.
Okay. So as a coach, everyone in high school sort of wants to win, and how would you determine overall success as a coach?
Well, it wasn't my win-loss record because we had some lean years, we had some good years, and some not so great years. But I would define it by our level of commitment. Did you finish the season with the same guys that you started the season with? Were things like bus trips and practices, were those, I always felt like, did we earn our wins and losses? So even if it was a loss, did we feel like we earned it? If it was a win, did we feel like we earned it? And then the connections and the relationships that you have with those players, whether it was a good year or a bad year, do you still reach out to them? Do you still reach out to you when they've graduated? So that's usually how I determine it. And I think we had more of those successful seasons from, the perspective of working hard and being committed. Well
said. And as far as players and keeping in touch, did you ever coach your own kids? And if so, did they teach you anything, or what did you learn from them?
Yeah, so my dad was actually my high school baseball coach for 4 years, so I had that experience. And then I coached my own kids. I coached my son in youth basketball last year for his 7th grade year, which was awesome. It was a blast. They were a great group of kids. We made it to the championship, but we lost, but it's okay. And then I helped when my daughter was a sophomore at Duxbury on the girls basketball team. I was like a volunteer assistant. So, it gave me a cool perspective on, trying to separate yourself from being a dad and a coach, and trying to focus on the coach stuff during the games and practices, and then trying to be more of a dad outside of games and practices. So I think it gave me another good perspective on how our parents can see their athletes.
Okay. So I understand this is your first athletic director position.
Yep.
So why did you choose to become an athletic director, and why Sandwich?
That's a good question. So I think it's something I had thought of in terms of getting into some sort of administration. I didn't think that I would ever want to be a principal or assistant principal or anything like that. I loved teaching. I loved coaching. But I guess this was the next step in terms of marrying those two together and still staying involved in athletics and in academics. I taught for 26 years, so that was great, and I enjoyed every minute of it, but I was sort of ready for something new. This had sort of came out of nowhere. I had been familiar with Sandwich just from my time of teaching down at Barnstable for a long time. And I knew there was a strong athletic program here, and I think it was kind of interesting being able to have the middle school combined with the high school. So it's just kind of a cool opportunity, and so far it's been great. I've loved it.
And as far as challenges go, what's been your biggest challenge as far as this new position compared to your coaching or your teaching positions?
Yep. I think the logistics is the toughest part, is making sure that fields are ready. There's access for the teams. Buses are on time. Referees are at games. That's been the biggest thing, like checking the spreadsheet like over and over and over and over again to make sure, if you have a soccer game, that if the game's at 4, there's referees at 4 and the field is cleared and ready to go. So so far we've had more good experiences than any of the negatives, so that's been the biggest challenge.
Well, that's good to hear. Have you had to deal with anything as an athletic director that you didn't particularly anticipate on?
Not so much. I think a lot of the things that have come across I'm familiar with from either having coached or like I guess as a parent or as a teacher. Um, it's sort of the other things around like getting registration ready, having that ready for anybody when you send that out. Um, you know, the things for the MIA, making sure all the paperwork is for dates for tournaments. So that we have our win losses ready, or up to date, I should say. So that's been an adjustment. Is sort of as a coach, you just focus on your own team, and you have your games and you send your roster in, and you sort of rely on the AD to do it. And now it's just interesting realizing that all the coaches send their stuff to me, and then I got to make sure that I'm caught up with all of our games. The scores are correct, rosters are correct. So that's been sort of the biggest adjustment I think that I wasn't fully prepared for.
Even the yellow cards.
Even
situation?
the infamous yellow card situation. So I will be on top of that moving forward for all teams involved. Yes, but we are going to move on, and we are going to take that as a learning experience.
I agree. So being an athletic director requires a lot of time, a lot of energy. How has that affected your family or your personal life? Like, how have you adjusted to that?
So the hours are different, obviously, because with teaching, you'd start at 7:15, 7:30, and then you're done at 2. I think it's pretty similar schedule to what we have here. But now it's longer days, but I like it. They're filled with like going to games, going to practices, watching you guys play, meeting the kids on the team and talking with the coaches. And I've actually kind of liked it. Like I've liked being a part of what everybody is doing here and trying to help everybody. Do you know what I mean? Being somebody that coaches can go to, or players can go to, or teachers can go to. So I think I was kind of ready for that. With teaching, it's, I'd be done at 2 and didn't really have to do much prep work because I'd been teaching the same things for so long.
Right.
Yeah. So this, I like how every day is different. That's one thing that I really liked about it.
All right. And just last question, is there anything that I missed that you would like the sandwich community just to know about you?
No, I guess the biggest thing for me is I just feel really welcome especially from the student body and the faculty here, of just coming in as somebody new, having never done it before, and people willing to sort of deal with any mistakes or snafus that happen along the way. But no, it's been an awesome fall so far. Current updated rankings, we have everybody in the fall currently making the state tournament, so that would be great to go into November with everybody being able to play in the postseason. So
Hopefully it stays that way.
that's right.
Well, I wish you the best,
Thanks,
and
Dan.
thank you for joining me today.
Appreciate it.
Back to you, Livy.